Hi guys, give me a minute. I'm getting set up. I'm also getting my makeup done. We're on set. We're doing our run-throughs today for Rise Live, and I was trying to finish in time, and then I was like, you know what? Let's just start while you finish, because this is real life, everyone. So while you get set, I'm so sorry that you're having to walk around. Hello, it's Friday. Everyone cross your fingers that the internet works today, that we don't have any problems. All right, wait for it. How do I make Facebook come on? I know, someone just said the coaching room yesterday didn't save. I know. The internet was wild yesterday. Both Instagram and Facebook, I have no idea what was happening. So we're all gonna cross our fingers and say a prayer that today's the day and that it works. Let's see, I'm gonna try and go live over here on this, over on Facebook. Give me just a second. I promise we're gonna get into what coaching is about. And then, and then there's that. Thank you. Sweet. See, I don't know how to make myself look like this, you guys. Just getting Facebook turned on. Hold on. Oh, there I am. Oh, there I am. There you are. Thanks.
No worry.
I don't know if I need lipstick. I feel like I can probably coach with my regular lips the way that they are, maybe.
Maybe just a little.
A little.
We'll just do a little.
Hello from Denver. Hello, Jacqueline. Someone just said it's fun watching me get glam. Thank you, Jacqueline. Hello, Tiana, over on Facebook. If you guys are just joining me on Facebook, we are on set today for Rise Live, and I am trying to finish my makeup so that I can teach this coaching session. And when I say I'm trying to finish my makeup, I mean that I literally did nothing except for sit in one place. Let me fix this real fast, Instagram. Give me a moment. Stay where you are. Everyone hold your spot. Promise we're gonna try and have today be better than yesterday, right? That's one of our mottos, better than yesterday. Let's see if that works. We're gonna hope it doesn't fall. Oh, we're getting lashes on too? Okay, great, let's do it. Hey guys, this is my third day in a row. This is my third day in a row of doing 1 hour of free coaching, specifically talking today about mental health, emotional health, and physical health. I want to cover all of the topics. I was going to say you could go back and watch yesterday's, but unfortunately nothing worked yesterday and nothing saved. So you can go back and watch Wednesday's, which I think was really good. And today I'm going to do my best to weave in a bit of yesterday and then talk about some new things as well. Just give me 1 second while I get my lash on, everybody. This is one way to do a live stream, you guys. Maybe it's exciting. Texas is going to show us how you get a lash strip on. And just in case anyone is curious how we are pulling this off, everybody who is here, with the exception of me, is wearing a mask, and everybody had to be tested in order to be in this room. So we're all very safely doing this thing. Look at the difference. Okay, that's not dry yet, but man, the difference between a lash and no lash. It's like, I love myself. Who hurt you? That's like the difference.
Okay.
All right, sorry. If you guys can hang with me for just a couple of minutes, I promise I'm gonna coach and it's gonna be so fire and exciting. And if you get freaked out by touching eyeballs, well, I'm sorry. What if I just went through life with only one lash done? That would feel great. Okay, there is a PDF that our team made. I just saw that they posted it on Facebook, over on Instagram. It is in if you click the link in the bio on the Rise Instagram, you can grab this PDF, which we made to just sort of talk you through this idea of stronger and better. What does it look like to approach the different areas of your health? Tomorrow, I just spit on myself, it's fine. Tomorrow is our last conference of the year, and I do these coaching sessions in the days leading up. For those of you who aren't able to join us tomorrow, I understand that not everybody has, $40. I've been there many times in my life, and so want to make sure that I show up for those of you who are not able to come and spend the day with us tomorrow online. So that is what my intention is for our time together. Specifically, since this is the third day of coaching, just one more second. It was the last thing, I promise.
There's only two.
Since this is the last day of coaching, I really do want to hear from you. I want to answer specific questions based on the area of health that we're talking about. So if you guys have questions about emotional health, physical health, or mental health, I would love to dig into those with you over the next hour. So keep the questions coming, and as soon as this lash dries, we'll be ready to talk about the things. We are gonna do it. I am getting into hair and makeup because we're doing a few sessions today. So if you were with us last time, then you maybe saw it. I do these pre-recorded sessions where I actually coach individual members of our community about something that they're walking through. We tape those today, and then they air as part of the conversation tomorrow. But that's why I'm getting these lashes on my eyeballs. Do you need me to close my eyes? Yes. Am I being, okay, great. I'm making it so hard for you to do your job. I love you. Thank you for being here.
Hey, ditto.
Ditto. All of you who complimented my makeup when I was doing the women's health video, that was also Texas. That was basically anything that you've seen of me in the last 6 months is him. Oh, it's, yeah.
Right there. Then, how do you feel?
All right, I feel great. Feel fantastic. You can judge it after. Wait, I lied. Is there something sticking right there? Sorry, guys. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay. There we go.
Sorry, not sorry.
There we go. How about that?
Yes. Okay,
all right.
Thank you. All right, guys. Here we go. Let's talk about health. Okay, I'm going to start with PDF, which you can grab on Facebook in the link or the link in bio on the Rise Instagram. When we think about health, I've been talking about this all week, we as a company, as a team, as people, believe that health should be about the way you feel, not about the way you look. Not about the way you look. I think that so many things that exist in this space are set up to make people, but especially women and teenage girls and even young girls, hate themselves, honestly. I would ask you guys right now, can you think of at what age you became aware of your body not looking the right way? And I understand that that's not the story for everybody. I understand that not everybody grew up in a place or with parents or with family who implied to us that it should be something different than it was. But I remember becoming aware of my body not being right. Gosh, 3rd grade? Maybe. I mean, what I was about to say was I was chubby, but I'm like, was I, or was I just a kid? And I had a kid's body, and I didn't look like other girls at my school or girls that I thought were popular or cool. And so I, from a very early age, started to admire a certain aesthetic, and it was an aesthetic that I didn't have. And so I love this. Y'all are saying 4th grade, 11 years old, high school. You have Tina has an 8-year-old who's entering this phase right now before middle school. Someone remembers being bullied in kindergarten, 7th or 8th grade, 9 years old. And I think this is crazy, especially for those of us who are parents now. If you can imagine a world where your child, or even if you don't have kids and you can just think of a child that you love or you care about, a younger sibling, or maybe someday when and if you want to be a parent, can you imagine an 8-year-old? Can you imagine a kindergartner? Can you imagine a middle schooler already learning to hate themselves? Already learning that there's a certain type of way that they're meant to be, and if they don't look like that person, if they don't look like that girl, if they don't fit into this narrative, then there's something wrong with them. And the harshest part about that knowledge so early is that we tend to carry it with us, right? It's not like we become aware and then we let it go. Most of us become aware of not fitting into an aesthetic, and we carry it with us for the rest of our lives. And so when you think about your health, I really want you, it's like there's so much shame in this topic, or there's even so much anger at ourselves for not having figured it out, for not having done enough, for not being stronger, for going backwards, whatever it is, instead of placing the anger where it actually should be aimed, which is with the societal norms that say that this is okay. Because even if you didn't grow up in the US with the body aesthetic that we have here, every single country and culture has their own idea of what matters most. And so it doesn't matter where you're tuning in from today, you probably have your version of this too. And if you could just stop yourself and And if you could just slow down, if you could slow down and look at what it is, instead of feeling like there's something wrong with you, could you start to perceive what is wrong with the system? What is wrong with media? What is wrong with the world? Because if you can start to point out the things that are not okay, then the next time that you see something that would typically adversely affect you, you can call it garbage. It not out loud, not like a crazy person, but in your own mind, you can be like, oh yeah, no, that's not real. You could see a picture of a model that, there's 6 inches between her thighs. And you could just be like, oh yeah, that's not an actual woman's body, and that's not a healthy aesthetic for us to be aiming for. And you can just remind yourself of what is true. So I love this, the frozen versus not frozen. If it's frozen, it's your Wi-Fi. Because they told me yesterday, if I was frozen, I would be frozen on my own screen. So it's frozen for some people, but not all. And so I'm just going to keep talking today. So if it's frozen, I'm so sorry. Instagram tends to be much stronger. If you want to head over to Instagram, I'm on both simultaneously. Okay. So that's what I want you to think about. That's what I want you to unpack. That's what I want you to consider, is to go through your life, maybe it's just for the next week, and notice how many times you see things either in social media or out in the world, or something that you're reading or something that you're watching, that are set up to make you feel less than for the body you have, for the skin tone you have, for the hair that you have. How are you consuming things that are affecting your self-esteem? How are you consuming things that are affecting your confidence? Because if we can just take note of them, then we can find a way to navigate around them. So that's where we're going to start today. So I want to hear feedbacks from you guys. Someone just asked, the handouts are created by our team. They'll post them on Facebook. Again, they post a link that you open up the PDF, you can print it out. And then over on Instagram, it's in the bio on Rise. So at letsrise.co, it's in the bio if you want to grab it. All right. Real quick before I go on from this topic, I'm just curious, feedback from y'all. Tell me the things in your life that you are seeing or you have felt that you feel like you can call, I don't think they're kids. I think kids are in school. So I want to say that you can call BS on. That you could go, that's not healthy. That's not okay. Like something very specifically. Is it comparison? Are you comparing yourself to someone else? Are you comparing your body to someone else's body? Are you comparing your hair, your skin, your clothes, anything regarding the way you look? Tell me how this shows up in your life specifically. Someone just said, do you have any advice for how to explain this to my 10-year-old? So I actually talked about this a couple times this week when it comes to confidence with our kids. I really do think there's something incredibly powerful about making sure that your children have role models in their lives that speak about the topics the way you would want them to understand. But it should be from somebody else, because a lot of us can talk to our kids all day, and then they go, meet a camp counselor or, their youth pastor at church or whatever, and they'll be like, Mom, Joey told me this thing. And you're like, that's exactly what I've been telling you for 5 years. You don't say that, but you think it. But now Joey said it, and now you're going to listen. And it doesn't matter where they get it from, so long as they're taking it in. So making sure that your kids have role models that can speak into their lives. Paying attention to the friends that your kids have. You become who you surround yourself with. So if you have a friend group, and I don't just mean as children, I mean as adults. If you have a friend group that's insecure, that's constantly saying negative things about their body, that never feels like they're enough, then you are going to absorb that whether you want it or not. I've told this story before, that years ago I went to work out with a personal trainer for the first time, and she had a gorgeous body, and it was like sculpted and amazing, and I had worked out with her for about 3 months, and I had never felt worse about my body in my life, ever. I literally was like disgusted with myself. I would get so mad at myself for eating something that was wrong. And I remember I was complaining to Dave again about something related to my body. And he was like, what is going on with you? Like, where is this coming from? This is not a normal conversation. Like, we never talked about this before, and now it's all you talk about. And I realized that I had spent 3 months working out with a woman that her body was what I would say was perfect, And all she did was talk about how terrible her body looked. Like, oh, she ate this for lunch and she shouldn't have eaten it. And oh, her gut was this, or oh, she was so bloated. And unconsciously, I started to believe that like she has this perfect body and she still thinks it's disgusting. And this is how she's talking about herself. So what must I be? So I didn't even mean to, but like through osmosis, I started to, I absorbed her behavior. And I think that you have to pay attention to who are you consuming? And not just in your life, but also on your phone. When you're scrolling through, what is the thing that you are seeing? And is it something that is telling you that you are worthy and enough as you are today? Or is it something that is reminding you over and over that you are less than? Because it's the most magical thing in the entire world. You could just not consume that stuff. So Ash just said, my mom's skin on my abdomen is an issue for me. My friends' abdomens are amazing and mine is yuck. Hey Ash, like girl, there you go. Let's just all take a good look at this. This is for Ash. There's that. We're just, here. Ooh, look at her. She is so cute. There she is. This is for Ash / anyone else who needs this right now. Ash, I am incredibly successful. I'm an awesome mom. I'm a really good friend. I am a great leader. I think I'm an awesome communicator. I have cute hoodies. I'm kind to animals and children. I give 10% of the money that I make away to charities that I believe in. I think I'm a good person, Ash. I think you're a good person. And I think the least freaking interesting thing about me and you, Ash, is our abdomen skin. Girl, no. I love you and I get it, right? Because if you are surrounded by images of something else, if all of your friends were super blessed and they didn't get to have stretch marks like we had stretch marks, or maybe their stomachs are flat and our stomachs aren't flat, if that's all we're seeing, coupled with, are we surrounded by people who are also feeling insecure about certain parts of their body, and maybe they're speaking that into the world, it makes us think that we're less than. Like, oh my, who cares? I mean, the perspective, I know y'all have heard me say this before, but if you have mom skin, it means you are blessed enough to be a mother. How lucky for you. How many women would kill to have your stomach? That is a point of pride. Like, good, live it. Love your life. Challenge yourself, Ash. Challenge yourself. Ash said she's so self-conscious about it. Girl, I feel like if you live somewhere where it's warm, I'm going to need you to put a bikini on this weekend and just let your freak flag fly. Just let it go. But something that I challenge myself to do, if there's a body part that I'm thinking negatively about, my answer is not, ooh, how do I work this out and get this into shape? My answer is, how do I start to compliment this? How do I start to see beauty in this? How do I start to see blessings in this? Because it won't matter. I want you guys to get this. This is what I say. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about emotional health. It won't matter how much weight you lose, how tight your abs are, what your butt looks like. It won't matter if mentally, if emotionally, you are still hating yourself. Because it'll never be enough. You could do 10,000 sit-ups and get whatever tummy like your girlfriends have, and it will never be enough. Because in your heart and in your mind, you still don't think that you're enough. See, I think that I think that we have the ability, and I don't think enough people talk about it, and man, if this is the last thing that I do on this earth, I'm going to hammer this point home. You can want to be a better version of yourself. You can want to be stronger. You can want to change your body. You can want to get healthy, whatever that looks like for you. You can want those things. And I think that's incredible and admirable and will be so great for you. You can want to become someone better while also acknowledging that who you are today is freaking rad. Who you are today is a gift. Who you are today is a blessing. Who you are today is worthy and enough as is. As is. And you have the choice. You can decide to keep doing things the way that you've done them for the last 5 years or 10 years or 20. You can keep doing the same way and hoping that you have a different result. Or you can challenge yourself. You can shake things up. You can call BS on the fact that you believe there's something wrong with your stomach. You can keep snapping yourself out of it. The first thought that you have is going to be the thing that's been programmed in you by your family of origin, by your friends, by the media. The second thought you have is going to be who you actually are, who you are reaching for, right? So right now, don't try and control that first thought. Because that first thought is a part of who you are. It's going to pop. It's going to be there. We all have them. But you can control the follow-up thought. You can control the voice of reason. You can control your heart that says, oh no, sister, you're doing great. Remember, we got this. Or remember, you're a mom. Would you ever want your kids to think about their bodies the way that you think about your own? Because someone asked earlier, how do I teach my kid about this? How do I have this conversation with my 10-year-old? Man, they are watching what we do. They are watching what we do. And if you tell your kids to love themselves, but you are saying negative things about your own body, your own hair, your own face, if you are even acting in a way, are you carrying yourself in a way, are you don't want to take pictures with them because you don't feel that you look right, or you go to take a picture with them and you strategically hide behind a child. I've done that. Don't lie. Most of us have done that. You hide half your body behind someone else, you're peeking behind a tree, okay, I'll be in the picture, but half of me, right? Because you're only worth half of you. Freaking man, be in the picture. Show up for your life. You as you are today, right now. And there's beauty in wanting to become someone new and someone different. And there's beauty in evolution. And I love that for you. But evolution, you can't shame your way to health. You can't hate your way to evolving. You just can't. You have to care about who you are today enough to love yourself. Okay. Ash is going to send us a picture of her in a bikini this weekend. We can't wait to see. #RiseLiveHealthAsh. Come on. Get that to us. She's like, girl, I did not agree to do that with you. Okay, let's talk about mental health. We're about halfway through. If you're just joining me, thank you for hanging out for coaching today. This is my last coaching session before our conference tomorrow. It's my last conference of the year. We're doing a virtual conference with Jay Shetty, Trent Shelton, Kelly Levesque, Dave Hollis, Britt Barron, Chris Chandler, Nick Vujicic, Son the DJ, Stacey Flowers. The lineup is insane. It's 9+ hours of programming. If you want to find out more about this conversation, if you just want something fun to do tomorrow on a Saturday, if you need a kickstart, if you need some motivation, you need to sort of get back in the groove, not just with your health, but maybe you need to be more productive. Maybe you need to get motivated again for your business. Maybe you need to get back on it. The team over here on Facebook just posted the link, but you could go to thehollisco.com and find out more information. But I'm doing this coaching for those of you who are not able to join us tomorrow. I understand if you can't afford the $40 ticket. I have been there, so I want to show up for you in this time and just do this for you for free. And so let's turn to mental health. Let's talk about mental health. This is so essential. When we're going to have a conversation about health, we have to talk about mental health because there are lots of people, lots of pills, lots of powders, lots of diets, lots of organizations who would tell you that being healthy would be looking like a certain aesthetic, right? And you and I both know people who look a certain way and are deeply unhealthy on the inside, are deeply unhealthy mentally or emotionally. And we have to have a conversation about that. Because if you could change one thing about yourself, if you could only touch one area of your life, if you could only affect mental health or physical health or it should always be mental first. Always. Always, always, always. September is Suicide Awareness Month. And I know this because I lost my older brother to suicide. And so I'm hyper aware of this month. I actually lost him in September, which always feels so wild to me every year when it comes back around. And I talk about this in the new book. I think in a lot of ways, So I think in a lot of ways, this is my new book. It actually comes out on September 29th. In a lot of ways, the new book is, I know this sounds so cheesy, but it's almost a love letter to hope. It's about clinging to hope. It's what do you do when you go through crisis or grief or loss? And I know so many of you are in seasons right now where you are battling, trying to stay upright when it feels like the waves are crashing down. You lost your job, your grandparents are sick, you don't know how you're paying rent this month, you're stressed about the health of your children. There's this long list, and we all have different things that we're grappling with. But what I think about this book, and what I realized, I didn't know this is what I was doing when I started out to write it, but the book is dedicated to my brother. And so much of the lessons in it are about him. And the very last chapter, which is about how do we have hope? How do we cling to something good, even in the midst of really hard times? And this is a really hard time. I don't care where you are in the world. This year has been catastrophic in terms of change. And in times like this, most people don't even want to have a conversation about their health. So I want to honor everyone who is watching this live and who's going to watch it later today, that you're even willing to wade into a conversation about health when most people want to get a drink, right? Most people want to numb out right now. Most people want to watch something on Netflix and not think about the fact that the world has gone so sideways. And if we have a conversation about mental health, if we cared as much about our mental health as we cared about the size of our jeans, it would change the entire world. If we cared enough, if we cared as much about being mentally strong, about having that fortitude, about being willing to have hard conversations with our counselor or a therapist or a priest, about digging in, about seeing a doctor, about taking your medication, doing what you need to do to stay strong and stay healthy. You have to. I'm gonna start cussing. So I'm just gonna read for a minute instead of cussing at you guys. But it's something that I feel incredibly strong about. Okay, sorry. I just want to read this little bit to you. Okay. This is from the last chapter of the new book. And I just want to have this conversation as it pertains to mental health. And this is not going to be for everybody, but my gut says that this is going to be for somebody. And so this is for you. I see your pain. I see how badly you were hurt. I see how desperately you want to feel hopeful. I see you, even in the midst of everyone else, because I have touched sorrow just like you have. I understand that this is a club that none of us asked to join, but we're here now, and we have to make it mean something. I refuse to believe that we've walked through all of this because we're cursed. I can't believe we were made to suffer. I won't accept that that's why you are here. There is a goodness in this world, and there is light inside you still, even if it's been dimmed, even if others have tried to extinguish it completely. I know you didn't plan to walk down this path, but you're on it. I know if you've made it this far, you are strong enough to see it through. You will get through this. You will. Humans can endure anything so long as they cling to hope for what tomorrow will bring. My brother, and so many like him, isn't here to read these words because he lost hope. Years battling mental illness made him believe that life was hopeless, and there is a huge part of me that is happy He doesn't have to endure one more second of that pain. But you know what? He lost so much. He lost hope, and then he lost everything. He lost out on a future that might have been. I don't know if I can read this without crying all my makeup, but I'm going to try. He lost out on a future that might have been. He lost the chance to meet his wife. He lost the moment when his son was born and 2 daughters after that. He lost the chance to dance with his sisters on their wedding days. He lost 70 odd years of holidays and birthday parties and 4th of July barbecues. He lost running his first marathon and ever going to see a Dodger game again. He lost out on wrinkles around his eyes and holding his grandbabies. He lost out on a whole beautiful life that could have been because he made a momentary decision that changed everything. I am telling you this now because some of you are making a decision every single day that is pushing you away from happiness, a future that was meant to be yours. Not making a decision is a decision in and of itself. Not choosing to get help is choosing to stay stuck. Not standing back up is what is keeping you on the ground. I know it's hard, and I know it's scary, and maybe you're not sure what to do, but I swear to you that life can be beautiful again. Good things will always be available to you if you look for them. Okay, I'm going to stop reading because I bawl every time I finish that chapter. In fact, the audiobook I narrated the audiobook like I always do, and honestly, that chapter, I don't even know if you guys could understand me. I'm crying so hard. So just prepare yourself if you ordered the Audible version. So, mental health is such a varied, complex, nuanced, specific to you thing. It is not something that we can tackle as a group. It is not something that we can tackle on Instagram in this moment together right now. I'm not reading that because I want to start a conversation where we start diagnosing each other and saying all of the different things. I am reading that because I believe in my heart that someone needs to be reminded that they need to call their right? Someone needs to be reminded that they need to take their meds. Someone needs to be reminded that they need to check in on that friend, that they've had that intuition that that friend's struggling, they need to check in with them. Someone needs to be reminded that there are things that you can do that will help you with your anxiety. There are things that you can do that will help you with your depression. There are things that you can do. There are practical things right now that you can do in your life. There are medications if you need them. There are counselors. There are doctors. There are books that you can read, podcasts you can listen to, YouTube videos that you can go watch. I know that not everybody has the same access and the same resources, but help is out there. Help is out there, but you have to be willing to help yourself. Okay. Mental health. Any thoughts or questions about this topic? That is something that feels appropriate for the venue that we're in right now. Happy to talk to you about postpartum depression and going through that. I'm happy to talk to you about how I found a therapist, and many times over my life. There are so many things that happen to us that I think a lot of times we're not even conscious of. Let me say it this way. So often as human beings, we get so used to the way things have always been for us, or they've slowly gotten worse over time so that we don't even notice that they're happening, and we just accept them as the way life is. We just accept that life is going to be like this. We just accept that we're going to live with anxiety. We're going to accept that it feels this way. I saw someone said that they had PTSD. I had and still have PTSD, but for years it was undiagnosed because I thought that that was something that only soldiers got. Honestly, it didn't. I'd gone through this horrifically traumatic experience with my brother, and I didn't know. And I had terrible insomnia, and I had violent reactions to loud noises, and I just like had all of this stuff, crazy anxiety, all of these things, and I didn't know what it was. And if I don't know why something's happening, I can't get the help that I need. And the help for me isn't even always like, oh, I'm going to go and do a whole thing. Sometimes it's like, okay, let me arm myself with information. Let me read some books. Let me try and understand how this affects me, or if this is pertaining to me. So just the first step for a lot of you is quit accepting that it has to be this way if you haven't done anything to try and change it or make it better. And some of you right now are going to be like, no, I have done it. I've done the things. I've tried, Rachel. I've tried. Great. Then try something else. And if that thing doesn't work, then talk to someone different. And if that doesn't work, Google a different thing. And if that doesn't work, read a book. And if that doesn't work, talk to your OBGYN. If she doesn't have answers, then go talk to your therapist, your priest, your pastor, your friends. Like, why would you give up because you didn't find the answer? All that means is that the answer is still out there. And with the internet now, there are so many solutions that you can try. I just saw this question. The wife of a bipolar man, what are your thoughts? So in this instance, and this goes for all of you, you don't want to get advice from someone who does not know what you are experiencing. You don't want my advice. You do want the advice of a support group, which is for sure, there are hundreds right here on Facebook that you could go find that are for people who are partners of someone who has bipolar disorder. And in finding that group, then you can get answers that are real life, people who know exactly how it feels. That's why Al-Anon was invented, right? There's Alcoholics Anonymous, and then there was Al-Anon for the partners of people who had experienced that along with them. Because nobody's going to understand what that feels like if they haven't stood in your shoes, right? How do you constantly stay optimistic when you feel like giving up and breaking down? Thank you for your question, Christian. Because I get to choose. I can go through this life upset and anxious and sad and scared. I can go through this life holding negative emotions, or I can go through this life optimistic. I can go through this life with joy. I could go through this life with happiness and, right? I get to choose. And if you get to choose, you should always choose the one that makes you feel the best. And I get this pushback a lot. People like to say that I have toxic positivity, which is like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Why wouldn't you want to try and see the good even in hard situations? Because if you look at your past right now, even the worst things that have happened to you, the worst things, and I know nobody wants to say this, but even the worst things that have happened to me in my life, there was beauty in them. It made me stronger. It made me more empathetic. It made me more courageous. It made me slow down, right? There were always good things, even in the hard things, if you're willing to look for them. And if I can control my perspective of even the hard stuff, well, then I can damn sure control my perspective of the day-to-day. Okay. Let's see. I love this. Hannah just said, there's never a right time to see a therapist. If you're considering it, then that means the time is now. That is such a good piece of advice. Someone just said, what is my definition of toxic positivity? Honestly, have never even thought of that definition. I've never even put those two things together. It seems like an oxymoron to me. I guess I would say that to me, toxic positivity would be when you're not allowing yourself to feel the pain, when you're masking pain with positivity. That would feel very toxic to the person who is experiencing it. But for me, And if you watch anything, especially this year, that I've talked about over and over and over, I talk about this idea that I believe that humans have this ability to hold both pain and joy at the same time. So just because I'm positive doesn't mean that I'm not feeling pain. Just because I'm positive doesn't mean that I'm not experiencing hardship in my life. But, you know, I have a very dear girlfriend who's also going through divorce. And I sent her a note, and I said, what I know of this time is there will be days that you can't get out of bed because you're crying. And then there will be moments of levity. There will be moments where the kids make you laugh. There will be something that strikes you, that tickles your fancy, that makes you smile. And I said, when you're in it, cling to that laughter. I mean, laugh till you pee your pants a little. Let that smile linger. Hold on to that moment, because what I know is that I know, having gone through, you know, the last handful of months in my own relationship, but also this year, and gone through grief and crisis and loss in my own life, is that if you get that moment of joy, if you get the little positivity, cling to it with both hands. Because in the process of grief, there's going to be time again to cry. So you got to cling to the good stuff when it's there. I guess that would be my definition. All right, we came down to the end. I didn't jump into physical, guys. You can grab the PDF and sort of break this out for yourself. There's so much information about physical health, right? Like, from my perspective, we move our body every single day. That is the goal. We want to make sure that we're moving. We want to stretch. We want to do movements that bless our body, that get our heart rate up, that break a sweat. But that should look different for every single person, right? Maybe some of you are really into bodybuilding. Maybe some of you want to do tap dance lessons. Maybe you're into ballet or yoga or stretching, or you just want to dance around in the kitchen, or you're just at the very beginning of your health journey, and so your movement looks different than other people's, or your body works in a different way, and so your movement looks different. I think that it should be personal to you. And my best advice for when it comes to physical movement is just, I recommend 30 minutes every single day, because I know for me that 30 minutes of movement will really center me, will bring me back to self, will lower my cortisol levels, which will keep my anxiety more at bay. It's something that I've learned to use to manage my emotional behavior and some of the triggers in my life, and so that's my best advice to you when it comes to physical. But good grief, there's 10 million things online right now that could talk you through how to do some movement or a workout or whatever you want to do there. Okay, so someone just said tips for finding a therapist. My advice is always to ask friends. If you feel like you have friends or family or acquaintances that you're like, let me say this, let me fix this. If you have friends that you feel like are you know, healthy, self-aware kind of people, right? And you know that they go to a therapist, that would be a great person to ask for a referral from. When I was in LA, I found a therapist for my OBGYN. I was really struggling, and I was like, who would know of a therapist that could talk to women? I was like, oh, maybe my OB, because she deals with women all day, so maybe she has therapists, and she did. And she had therapists that specialize in different things that women struggle with. So she had a therapist for people specifically who had gone through loss in pregnancy, a therapist for people who were struggling with postpartum, which is what I needed. She had a therapist for people who had gone through menopause and were experiencing a change of life and wanted to kind of talk through that. So a doctor that you already trust is a great resource to find a therapist. The other thing I just want to say for those of you looking for a therapist is, I keep saying this, but I don't want to say that it's like dating, but I do want to encourage you that you might have to meet with more than one person. You should not go to one therapy session, and if you don't feel great about that conversation, then you should test out somebody else. And I've gone to many therapists in my life, and I've gone through where I've seen someone for, you know, maybe a year, and then kind of felt like, okay, I got all that I can get out of that conversation, and now I'd like to talk to someone who specializes in where I'm at today. So I saw this question, how to stop feeling shame because your body works differently. So My instinct on that one, Nancy, is that you need to start focusing and giving your body credit for what it does. So if you're hyper-focused on what you feel like is a deficiency in your body, then that's all you're going to see. But if you learn to celebrate the heck out of what your body can do, and you hyper-focus on that piece, you really celebrate it. An easy way to do that is to grab a notebook or a journal and just sort of stream of consciousness, like, try this one. Here's your prompt. Nancy, I am your body, and this is what I want credit for. And you just let your body, I did this for you, and my heart has continued to beat, and my lungs have continued to work, and I have, your brain is functioning enough for you to type on Facebook, like as much as you possibly can. Let your body give you, demand credit. Because if you keep going through feeling angry for all the things your body didn't do for you, of course, you're only going to see the lack. So that would be my advice. So how do you deal with panic attacks or feeling like one is coming on? So I'm going to give you my thoughts, but panic attacks are something definitely more serious, and I hope that you're talking to your doctor about it or seeing someone who can help you with that. So panic attacks, some of the things that helped me back in the day are, I forget what this is called. My therapist talked me through it, but it's like grounding yourself, like physically touching things that are like you're physically like feeling substance below you. It's like you're almost like clinging to something. That she gave me this list of things, but that was something that was always powerful to me, was like sitting solidly in the chair, feeling my feet planted firmly on the ground, holding on to something solid. You guys can't see it, but I'm holding on to the chair. And in a breathing practice, meditating on, I weave this into meditation a lot, but to remember, like if you guys just do this with me, if you're breathing and your feet are planted firmly, wherever you're at, if you can do it, I want you to put your feet firmly on the ground, wiggle your toes, right? And breathe deeply in and out if you can do this. If you're able, and hold on to something firm, something solid, so you remind yourself that you're here, right? You're centered, you're in this spot. And then the meditation that I love to do is the reminder. I love to feel my feet on the ground, and I love to imagine, this is my thing, so if this feels cheesy to you guys, don't watch it. But I typically do breath work, so I'm breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth, and I close my eyes, and as I'm sitting there, I imagine a light coming from the earth. So I imagine it's green in my mind because it's coming from the earth, and I imagine this green light coming in through the base of my feet, going all the way up my legs, down into my seat, sort of that green light filling all the way up my body, down my arms, into my fingers, right? I can see. And as I'm imagining this light, I imagine it as the earth, and I remind myself that as long as I have been living, this earth has always been here to catch me. The earth has always been here to hold me in place. As long as I've been alive, even in the midst of a pandemic, even in hardship, even in crisis, the earth has always been here below my feet. So that is a grounding exercise that has helped me to stay calm and when I feel panic start to come on. And then I would also say that I combine that meditation. So I imagine the earth as a green light, and then I imagine continue breathing and just in vivid detail, see yourself grounded in this moment. Feel your body sitting on the chair, your feet planted firmly on the ground. And then I imagine a white light that comes down from above into my head and does the same thing. So it works its way down my body. And for me, that light represents God. And so that is the same practice for me, is to remind myself that my Creator has always been there, has always given guidance, has always taken care of me, and that's a meditation that I do that helps me. But again, I would say that that is a serious thing. Panic and even anxiety as something that you're struggling with, you should absolutely talk to someone about that, because there's so many resources that might help you. Oh yes, thank you for reminding me of that. Kate just said that the tapping app is really helpful. In fact, we had him come to Rise a couple of times, and he taught our entire, thousands of people in the audience tapping. It sounds like so woo-woo, but it is incredibly helpful. You can look it up on YouTube. There's lots of science to back it up. I don't know why it works, but it's basically a breathing exercise that you do, and you sort of like are tapping. I know it sounds crazy, but it really does work if you want to look it up. Yes. Oh, someone just said tap with Brad on YouTube. I haven't seen that, but that might be a fun thing that you can look into. So let's see. Meditation can really help in all areas. I absolutely agree. All right. I'm gonna do questions. So you guys, let's use this last couple of minutes while you guys are writing your questions. I just want to say tomorrow's our last conference of the year. If you've never been to a RISE conference, man, this is one to try. If you have been to a RISE conference, reignite that fire in your belly. Come hang out with me and Britt and Chris and Dave and the whole Asan. If you've been to RISE, you know who that is. The speakers are incredible. Jay Shetty, Kelly Levesque, nutritionist to the stars, Stacey Flowers, who's so incredible on stage. If you guys have been to RISE, you've seen her before. Trent Shelton, Nick Vujicic. We're doing meditations. It's an entire day conversation about health, but not in a shaming way, and we're not going to tell you about a diet. We're not going to sell you a powder. We're not going to sell you anything. Like, we're just going to have fun and have conversations about how, we have a shop and there are tank tops. So I don't want to say that there is nothing for sale. So that just in case people are like, wait a minute. But this is not, sometimes you like buy a ticket to this or buy a ticket to events and the whole thing is kind of leading up to this big, like, buy our course about blah. No, it's not that. There's nothing. You get to the end of the day and there's nothing for you. It really is. If we were going to go out in a conference this year, the conversation I wanted to have is about health. I wanted to talk about how you can maintain that momentum. I wanted to talk about how do you create energy so that you can live the life that you want to live and pursue your dreams. How can we love ourselves? How can we pursue our health from a place of love and care instead of a place of shame? So that's what the conversation is about tomorrow. You can find out the information at theholliscode.com. There's a banner right there at the top, or the girls have put it in the bio. Okay, I'm going to finish this time answering questions. Oh yes, Janine said she will be there. She also sent a dance video, so she's hoping she makes the edits. I hope you're making the edits too. Dina just said, can we look forward to a teen retreat? So at RISE conference, we actually have a lot of moms who bring their daughters to our women's conference, and someday when we're able to meet in person again, we should do that. But if you're coming to the conference tomorrow, it's a virtual event, watch it with your teenager. Like, watch it with your teenager. It's high energy. It's fun. There's nothing inappropriate. There won't be any, like, because a lot of our attendees are watching with little kids. Like, there's nothing, we're dancing up and down. It's all the music's clean. Like, there's nothing inappropriate. So if you're there tomorrow, then, oh my gosh, please watch it with your kids. Let's see. Oh, someone just said she brought her girls to RISE and it was amazing. I love hearing that. New Start Today journals. Absolutely. Target's got a whole new line. We're super excited about it. It's my favorite, collection that we've ever done in terms of decor. It's really pretty. Let's see. I just want to answer questions in my last couple minutes. Wait, how do I go tomorrow virtually? I've been under a rock. Okay, no worries. Go to theholliscode.com. So you're over on Instagram. So on Facebook, they're putting the link, but it's theholliscode.com. Right there at the top, you'll see a big banner for the virtual conference tomorrow. The tickets start at $40. It's 9+ hours of programming with some of the best speakers in the world on this particular topic. Jay's going to teach us how to meditate. Trent's going to talk to you about accountability and holding yourself accountable for the life that you want to have. Nick Vujicic is going to talk all about health as it pertains to your financial health, your family health, how did this sort of relational health show up in your life? Kelly is talking about taking the confusion out of nutrition. Like, how can you make it as simple as possible? How can you eat foods that bless your body? Stop being restrictive. We're just going to have so much fun. We're going to dance. We're going to be crazy. I'm doing a Q&A with VIPs at lunchtime. We have a really fun thing planned for after that during lunch, because one of the pieces of feedback we got was people want a little entertainment. So we got some entertainment coming your way at lunchtime. It's a surprise. We have a course that the Kings taught for us. They're teachers, so they taught all about how to have sort of emotional health for you and your kids as we're doing distance learning and the year looks different than it did. It's all the things. And it's $40. Starts at $40. So I hope you guys will join us tomorrow. Rise just said so the least expensive ticket can replay the event for 3 days. The next level up can replay the event for a week, and the next level after that can replay the event for 2 weeks. So even if you couldn't watch it live tomorrow, you still would have, even at the most basic level, you'd have 3 days to watch it. Let's see. My video from yesterday did not save. I do not know what was wrong with the internet, but man, let's see. Whoops. So sorry. Okay. How do you approach mental health in the workplace as a manager? Man, it's hard because I think it also depends on, again, I don't know context, and it depends on the company you work for and the environment that you work inside of. I think that we have it built into the core values of our company that we want to structure the business in a way that really provides people the opportunity to make sure that they're emotionally healthy, right? So one of our core values is work hard, live well, meaning there are times you're gonna have to work super hard. Like our team's here setting up this event right now. They're gonna have to work tomorrow on a Saturday. So work hard, which is a part of our value, but then the other half of it is live well. And one of the ways we live well is we have unlimited vacation. So we want to encourage you to take as much time off as you need, or go do, if you want to take a half day or whatever. We build the company around that core value. As managers, I think that, or as leaders, I think it's our job to check in with people and see how they're doing and understand what affects them, and what makes you nervous, what gives you anxiety. Is there something that you're dealing with that I can hold for you? Is there something I can pray for you over? I don't know if all companies, screw it. If you pray, you should ask people if you can pray for them. But yeah, I think that it's what makes the most sense to you. And oftentimes, as a leader, if you're looking for the answer, it really is, the golden rule: treat people the way you'd want to be treated. So how would you want someone to approach you about this topic? What would you want them to say? What would you want them to bring up, or ask, or show up for you? I know it's not really about mental health, but one of my favorite things to know for my team and the people that I lead directly is, what is their love language? I'm looking at some team members right now. So Cameron, who I can see right now, his love language is words of affirmation. He's looking at me. And then Allie, who's over here, it's acts of service or gifts? Both. So look, I know both your love languages. But in knowing that, I work with them both really closely. We are together all the time because both of them work on production with me. Then I try and be very intentional to show up for them in that way and to love on them in that way. And I think oftentimes, it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate to, as a manager, to go up to someone and sort of start prying into what's going on with them mentally or emotionally, but just letting someone know that you care and that you're aware and that you're, there if they need you. I didn't mean to rhyme 3 words in a row, but that would be my advice. Okay. So someone just said, do you need the workbook for the conference, or will still be successful with the $40 ticket? 100% still so successful with the $40 ticket. Our community freaking loves a workbook. They are so into it. If you come to Rise Conference, our workbooks are insane. They're like fancy paper. People take crazy notes. But for virtual conference, you can absolutely grab any notebook you can and just take notes. So there's some more in-depth stuff in there, certainly, but oh my gosh, grab the $40 ticket, get a notebook. It's just like it's an extra thing for those of you who are really into that process. Okay. All right, I'm going to do one more question, so let's make it a good one. One more question. What should it be? How many days do you have access to the conference with the $40 ticket? You have it for 72 hours. Is that right, Cam? 3 days? 3 days? 3 days. Nobody's nodding at me, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. Where is the workbook? I couldn't find it. So have you logged into the portal yet? Everything's in the portal. And if you guys have tickets and you haven't logged in the portal, you need to go check that out. The digital experience that comes with this conference is bananas. Kelly made a video like taking you to smoothie school, and like Trent made extra info for you, and there's like recipes that you can use, and there's stuff for your kids to do, and there's a habit tracker and like wallpaper and our advice. Allie wrote a whole thing about how to meditate. Like there's such incredible stuff in our digital portal. Please go log in if you haven't done that already and get all your stuff, but your workbook's there. Let's see. Okay, so someone just said, this will be the last question, why not? Someone just said, is the new book signed? No, it's not. Most places you're gonna find it is just a book. But I am doing a virtual book tour, which I'll tell you more information about next week. I'm partnering with some indie bookstores because we wanna support indie. And all the books that, like I think to do that event, you buy a book and then you get like, it's like a virtual event, kind of like tomorrow, and those books are signed. So in any event, that's what that's about. All right, you guys, I have got to scarf down some food. I'm starving. I got salmon waiting for me. I got my omega-3s ready to make my brain super powerful and strong. I loved hanging out with you the last few days. I'm really excited to see those of you who are going to be with us tomorrow. It's going to be an epic day. There's so much love and care that goes into this, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see you guys there. So have a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic day. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and let's redefine what it means to be healthy. I can't shut either one of these off. There we go.